The Jews.
Okay, okay, now, can we take this weiter? Can we take this the next step? Since you now believe that, and you've just articulated that very well, can you say that it's likely that God, when he gets ticked off when we started in mass trying to assimilate into Germany and Europe, when we started throwing off the yoke of the heaven, stopped following Judaism, got involved in atheism, got involved in German enlightenment, that he would come in and make a big point and start wiping out Jews with the Holocaust?
Well, I can't speak for God. I guess it's theoretically possible. It's not my understanding of how God acted in the particularly as the religious Jews who got wiped out in the Holocaust, and the secular Jews were the most likely ones.
When it says in the Talmud that when the angel of death is let loose, even the righteous are not saved. He doesn't discriminate. He just kills everybody. And there were more Frummies, there were more what you call religious people than non-religious people, and so he wiped them out. They got it.
So
and let's take it back to the other conversation about the state of Israel. In the state of Israel, when you see that they have the Ukrainian strippers in Tel Aviv, and they'll do a lap dance for you, right? Beautiful women from Ukraine will do a lap dance for you, right?
Chas v'shalom, I would be interested in such a thing.
If you were in Tel Aviv, you wouldn't last 5 minutes. You'd be in there. You would say, I'm there on a journalism thing. You know, I'm just researching.
Maybe if I could think I could makarev, they come closer to it.
Right. So if the woman, you would say, hey, you need to abandon this.
Yeah,
I'm your moral leader.
Yeah. Let me find you a good yeshiva.
Right. Okay. So we have all these things going on in the state of Israel. All these terrible things, like you have hookers from Yemen, in Tel Aviv, right?
Right.
And
thousands of years of Jewish history in Yemen. How does it climax? With a hooker in Tel Aviv.
And you know what she does when she climaxes? She goes,
la,
la, la, la, la, la. Yeah, I'm serious. Yeah, okay. So,
boy, that'd be annoying.
what about that versus the black woman who scratches your back?
I don't mind if a black woman scratches my back.
Well, the one you said that when she really scratched her.
Oh no, she wasn't black. She was white.
Oh, it was the black one who just wanted to say that.
She wanted me to F her before I went to temple on Shabbos. On Shabbos.
Okay, so where are we at? So would you agree that it's possible that the reason why that 16,000 Jewish soldiers have been killed, and that Israel has given up all this land, and it's still bombs are coming over, is because God is upset that they're not showing monotheism and Yerushalayim in the land of Israel, and all these Jews are doing the wrong thing, and he's smiting them with the plagues. He's okay to wipe them out. Do you believe that's possible?
I guess it's possible. I don't think that's what's happening, but I mean, I'm not going to speak for God's ways in the modern world.
But you just wrote it on your blog, and you just articulated that...
I think God was serious about killing off the Jews to Moshe.
Okay.
And if Jews won't do what's expected of them, there's no reason for them.
Right. There's no reason for Jews
if we don't
follow the Torah.
Right.
They're not following the Torah. The majority of the Jews or whatever in Eretz Israel are not in the state of Israel, and are following the Torah. They're doing some terrible things, right? Why should God save them? You know, they say secular Israelis are like, oh, the Frummies just sitting there in yeshiva, they're not doing anything, we're out fighting. And I'm like, you idiot. If it weren't for the Frummies sitting in yeshiva learning, you'd be getting killed out there. The Jew in the Beis Midrash learning is what keeps the state of Israel alive. Ginger, how you doing? Ginger, be sure to join. We talked about it earlier. Be sure to join the Torah Talks fan page on Facebook. Very important. You need to be in there.
Okay, D-Medic has a question for you. Did the Jews have the opportunity to flee Germany? Did God ever say anything about leaving nations when they are in trouble?
Did the Jews have the opportunity to flee Germany?
In the 1930s.
In the 30s they did.
But who was going to take them in?
Some went to England. I know some. Some got into England on what's called the
the kids.
What's it called? The Kinder train or something?
Kinder transport.
The Kinder transport. They got the kids out. Yeah, and then some were brought out. You know, they got them sneaked out through like You gave me a movie about that. What was that called?
Varian's War.
Varian's War. That's a true story.
Some of them were snuck out, but overall the world was not very hospitable to Jews. It was It was very hard to leave Europe in the 1930s, and countries had quotas against Jews, and the British wouldn't let the Jews into Palestine.
And he asked a second question, a follow-up question, and did God ever say anything, in the Torah, about leaving nations when they are in trouble? You know, it's like when the going gets tough, the Jews get going. I don't think he ever actually says anything about that, but we do have a thing called sakana nefashis, that you don't put yourself in a place of danger. Mm-hmm. Where if it's a dangerous place, you don't want to be there. You never want to be in a dangerous place. I'm going to say right now, and this is going to get me in a lot of trouble, that the state of Israel right now is a dangerous place. I think it's a very dangerous place for a Jew. I think that more Jews have died in the state of Israel since it was created in 1948 than Jews have died outside of the state of Israel. I think it's much safer for a Jew to be in America or Canada than it is to be in the state of Israel. I would recommend that all Jews move to America. Okay, go ahead, next thing.
Okay, so
Pacific Daylight Time. You don't care about that, do you? You've never gotten used to that.
Okay, sports fans, this week's Torah portion is Shelach, which is Numbers chapters 13, 14, and 15. So we've been talking about the spies who are checking out the promised land of Israel and the negative reports they bring back of the promised land. We've also got God holds the Jews responsible for their behavior, even though they were once slaves. So we have people today who have said, "Oh, I'm a descendant of slaves. I kind of be held accountable to the same moral code as everyone else."
Oh man, we went an hour and 35 minutes and you didn't take a shot at black people.
It's not. I'm taking a shot at leftists who won't hold black people accountable to the same moral code as everyone else. So plenty of black people regard themselves as morally accountable to the same moral code as everyone else.
They're apologists.
Leftists say, "Oh, we can't expect too much from them." Like, so what if they burn down Los Angeles and shoot firefighters and rape and pillage in the LA riots? It's because they're enraged. Well, God doesn't say, "Hey, you don't have to keep my commandments if you're enraged, or if you were once a slave, or you had a difficult childhood," or anything like that. God holds all adults responsible for their behavior, even if they come from a dysfunctional family.
Okay.
So we got the Sabbath violator in Numbers chapter 15, verses 32 to 36. It's called picking up sticks on Shabbat. So he's doing this in the public domain. So God and Moses are trying to create a holy society that keeps the seventh-day Sabbath holy. This guy goes out and flagrantly, publicly violates the commandments of what you can and cannot do on the Sabbath. And how is it handled? Moses goes to God, and God says, "Stone him to death." So they stone him to death. So Judaism is a hardcore religion. We don't go around putting people to death today for violating the Sabbath, but still Judaism is hardcore.
Okay, can I say something about this guy? This guy was not a bad guy. This was actually a Kiddush Hashem. Here's what happened. Mm-hmm. Torah says, do not violate the Shabbos. Mm-hmm. And if you do, then you will be killed. Mm-hmm. And so one might think that, oh, God's just saying that. He's not really going to kill anybody. He's just saying that so that we all keep Shabbos. And it's like, whatever. No one's ever, like we mess up a couple times. I'm going to drive to Temple. I'm going to drive to Temple.
After I bang a black chick.
After I bang this black chick.
So many people are watching this and doing that. It's just not right.
Yeah, I'm going to bang the black chick and then I'm going to drive to Temple.
Stephen S. Wise.
And
dove into a musical instrument.
Or it's like
with a woman cantor.
It's like
listen to Dennis Prager.
It's Shabbos. It's Shabbos, and there's a chick, and she's got her nails in my back because she won't sit still. So I have to she's screaming all this stuff. I have to keep her voice down, so I have to drown her out. I should turn on the stereo, crank the AC/DC or something, And
Michelle.
Or
one of her